Thank you. Welcome. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you. All right, so I would be looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I motion to approve the consent agenda items 1 through 5.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Hearing none opposed, that motion passes. Audience comments. I'm seeing just staff in the room and then online, looks like it's the same. Appreciate that. Roll into some old business. Kevin.
All right. Good evening, commissioners, or good afternoon, whatever it is. Got a few items for you. I'll start with that we have a Waputa Association meeting July 16th through the 18th. That's next week for 3 days. And there's a commissioner education and roundtable session from 1 to 4 on Thursday. And I believe Commissioner Miller, you are scheduled to give the official PUD welcome that day.
On Thursday?
I believe it's Thursday. Okay.
I'm not sure which one. I was gonna be here for the opening.
Okay.
That's on Wednesday, right?
Yeah. Wednesday. Did I say Thursday? Okay. Yes. Wednesday.
Yeah, I'll be here.
Wednesday.
Yes, to open and welcome everyone, and then for the water conference, which I think is Thursday.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Those are the 2 appointments I got. So,
Okay. Perfect.
yep, happy to do those. And
They're
you both
also
welcome.
social as well.
Will,
There's-
there's something on Connor. If I recall. On Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then 10 o'clock on that first day, there's Hellion Energy in Everett. There's a tour. So if you want to go to the building of the world's first fusion plant, it's an opportunity to go check it out. But I think there's some scheduling that you have to
I don't
do.
know I think there were like 4 spots when I signed up.
Mm.
For commissioner.
You're going?
I'm not going to that. I'm just coming to the round table.
Okay. Okay. So that's next week. And then we've got the Waputa Water Workshop in Leavenworth, September 24th through the 26th. So the hotel rooms blocks are now available. So it's this year, it's going to be held at the Icicle Inn, not the Enzion. So the workshop starts Wednesday afternoon and it's Friday morning. So if you're planning to attend, it's encouraged that you get your rooms now. Okay. And then we are in the process, staff are beginning the draft budget process. So they're starting the review of the CIP needs, and over the next several months will be ongoing discussions about budget specifics leading up to the first budget hearing scheduled for October 14th. So you'll be hearing about budget stuff throughout the summer and more to come there. And then finally, the meter department will be completing their large meter testing next week. We test about 1/3 of our 3-inch and larger meters each year. And we've used Oregon Meter as a contractor for testing for calibration for over 20 years. And so big switch is next year, we plan to bring it all in-house. And so all our meter technicians will be performing the testing. So that will provide us greater flexibility in scheduling and also less disruptions for our customers. So we usually block off a couple times, 2 to 3 times a year, 2 weeks or a week, and it's just totally dedicated during that time. So we'll have that availability to do it throughout the year. So did pretty good. Yeah. And that's what I have for you this evening. If you've got any questions of me. Okay.
Here. Thanks. All right, next up, got Alistair.
Okay. What's that? A horrible? No, it's fine. It's fine. Good evening and thank you guys for having me. I would like to take this opportunity, especially since this is our first IT update since we moved into the new building. I'd like to thank the IT staff for their support and everything they did in getting everybody moved over here and getting everything up and running in this building. From Ben working on the network and doing all of the communications going back and forth. with Luis setting up all the security and helping out and getting all the equipment into the data center. Vivian helping out the CSRs to making sure that everything, all the processes and everything up front was running. But especially to Nick, there's not a room in here that he hasn't touched. There's not any cables that are out of place because of him. I mean, he was very, very diligent and all of that. So the entire IT staff, I think we did a real good job of getting us into this building and getting us up and running. And I wanted to acknowledge all of their efforts for that process. Where we are right now, we still have some services being served out of the old data center. Right now, we've got Astound's fiber run out to the treatment plant is still being served out of that building. We're meeting with them tomorrow to talk about getting that switch made so it's coming into this building out to the treatment plant. Once that's done, we can move, we can decommission the data center, start getting everything out of there. And there's a UPS backup that Casey's going to have to get in there to take out that we plan to move up to the treatment plant. In between all of that, as part of the building separation, the communication portion of it is pretty much done. We're running all of our services to the south end of the building is now being served out of the data center. And our security, we've got a new security panel that's being served out of our Genetech security platform. So again, once we get Astound to get that thing done, for as far as security and communications, we're ready to hand the building over to whomever is going to be in the building next. And just to give you an update on some of the projects that we're currently working on, the data backup and recovery, I mentioned before, we're looking at replacing our current system and going to a single platform environment. The two choices we're looking at are either Rubric or Cohesity. We're in the process now where we're about to make a decision. We're taking a look at both of them again to take a look at the hardware that they'll be placing in our data center, just to understand what our options are, and also to get new pricing just to see what it's going to be. Ultimately, I still think it's going to be a lot cheaper than what we currently have, but we just need to do some more, a couple of things. Hopefully by the end of this month, we'll have a decision on which way we're going to go. The new data center, or the placement of the data center where the old generator is, Mark has reached out to BHC Consultants. They were the ones initially slated to do the design for when we had planned to do a purpose built. So we reached out to them. We're going to start that process of design in that in that space where the old generator, or where the current generator, is going to be removed. And at the end of this month, Security Solutions is going to start the final phase of our remote site upgrades, which means they're going to move all of our security, the door alarms, the access panels, from all the remote sites, move it into the Genetech platform. So we should have all of our assets into one single security platform. Right now, we're running two systems, and they're going to start that process. And it's going to be upgrading the door panels, the access doors, to where you get in with the key cards. And there'll be some cameras in certain sites that will be updated as well. One of the things I had on the CIP for this year was actually trying to get some fiber to a couple of places out at Bayview and out to Burlington Hill. After having some discussions and taking a look at how we can get that done, there's going to be a lot of construction. There's actually going to have to work with the city of Burlington to get some fiber on one of their poles to get to one of our reservoirs. It's doable, but I think we've got an opportunity right now with Starlink to hit up some other areas where we've got DSL service. We're paying roughly $130 a month for it. We can go to Starlink and pay probably $65 a month. There's a little bit of an upfront cost to get the equipment out there and to get it posted up. But I think we've got about 10 or 12 sites identified that we can get that service out there. It's been stable. We've got it in 2 places. We'll have it in 3 places pretty soon. We're using about 5 to 6 gigabytes of data per month. With the $65, we're up to 50 gigabytes that we have available to us. So not that I want to abandon fiber in general, but I think in this particular case, I think the money would be better spent getting some solid communication in some real remote areas that will probably serve us a little bit better than what we currently have. And then since Brian has sent out the dreaded CIP and budget communication that we need to get ready for, we're starting to think from IT what we're going to be doing next year. And so we're going to start doing some work looking at some services to get us to hopefully a passwordless environment where the identity will be served up, not just with the password, but hopefully either through our access cards, our iPhones, hopefully some way that we can get folks access to things a little bit easier, but to increase and enhance the security. We're also looking at getting rid, or not really getting rid, but replacing our VPN service with a zero trust network access. So instead of us getting in through VPN, which gives you access to all of the network, we're looking at narrowing our window and focusing in on the securing access based on the applications. So whoever one particular individual is within the department, they've got access to certain applications that they only need, and to do it that way, as opposed to, oh, you get on the network and you have access to everything within the network. And so we're hoping to get that implemented next year. And we've come to find over the past couple of years, managing our security, our digital security certificates, it's a yearly process. Whenever we have an active server that has a website, we want to make sure it's secure. So you're starting it with that HTTPS, where you need to have a digital cert associated with that HTTPS. DigiCert used to, or has been, validating those security credentials for like 398 days per security credential. Starting next year in March, they're going to drop it down to 200 days that they're going to keep it valid. In 2027, they're going to drop it further to 100 days. And ultimately, in 2029, they're dropping the validity of those certificates to every 47 days. The reason they're doing that now is AI and everything is starting to be able to crack into those digital certs a little bit easier. So this is going to be the path that they're going to take. And we've got to make sure and put ourselves in a position that we're keeping our digital certifications valid. So we're going to be looking at how we're going to manage that, over the next few years. And so that's something we'll be thinking about with regards to the budget. I think that's it. Questions? Oh boy. So honestly, we've got about 20, 25 certificates. What we're looking to do is to be able to compress them into some wild cards, because a lot of the way that we've been addressing the certificates is by each server, instead of actually compressing them, because some of them are .kayenta.skagit PUD. And so if we can get a wild card and put it on top of that, then we can kind of get that cert out a little bit more efficiently. But that's what we're gonna be going into the discussion to see if there's ways that we can efficiently do that. Thank you, appreciate it.
Very good. Let's see here. So new business, seeing none unless I'm reading that wrong. Got some information here, which is always good. And commissioner comments. Anything for the order? Well, that's not the worst thing in the world. Joe? Go ahead.
Nothing for me.
All right, well, we're not breaking any records, but we're definitely getting the business covered here. So we will now, let's see, do we adjourn to an executive session or we retire, that's it. We retire to an executive session to consider the minimum price at which real estate will be offered per RCW 42.30.110(1)(c). And
About
you know,
15 minutes.
about
tops.
15 minutes. Yeah. So
No
at the
action
top,
to follow.
no action to follow. And yes, we'll conclude at 5:01. Excellent.